Here we go again in the Think Tank with singer-songwriter Laurel. This is Anyone Can Play Guitar, the podcast for musicians and music lovers that takes you behind the scenes of the music industry. This week is brought to you in partnership with MGR Music. Ever wanted to learn an instrument, hone your skills, or pick up something completely new? You can get so far by yourself, however professional guidance can make all the difference. With a network of tutors right across the UK and rates starting from as little as £15 per hour, visit mgrmusic.com now to get started. Hello and welcome to episode 64 and our interview with Laurel, with me, James, and him, Ben. Right. How are we doing today, Ben?
Very good.
Very good. Last week, Sam Duckworth.
Yeah. In the Think Tank.
In the Think Tank. We are also...
I could see Sam being in a think tank. Actually, the more I think about it.
The more you think about the Think Tank, you think that Sam could do some good thinking in the think tank.
Like an actual think tank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got your point.
Yeah.
Do you think there's ever been a think tank in the think tank?
No.
No, probably hasn't.
No. It was purpose built to be a club, but now it's a gig venue.
Never
Or
mind.
maybe that's what they want you to think.
Double think.
Oh, too much thinking.
It's gone 1984.
It has.
Right. So, here's a bit from Sam last week.
Mm-hmm.
You know, touring full time when all you got to do is tour, so when you're younger, is amazing.
Yeah.
Touring when you start to get older and have more responsibilities is more difficult. It takes a different mindset.
So this week, Laurel, she talks about releasing her music, songwriting, delve into a bit of time management, talks about sharing things about herself, how much to share, what not to share.
She's a good sharer. She doesn't overshare, but she still shares.
Yeah, and then using her friends and people close to her to do various things. As she's been on her journey to stardom.
Mm-hmm.
So, give me some Laurel stats, Ben.
Stats? I've got facts.
Oh, right. Yeah, well, give me some facts then.
She's from Southampton.
I mean, I'd like a stat as well.
Okay, I'll see if I can manipulate one of these into a stat.
Southampton, one of the furthest points in the country from us.
But she lives in London.
A little bit closer.
Mm-hmm. Her first album, or debut album, Dogviolet, was released in 2018, and that's the tour we met her on.
Mm-hmm.
It was self-written, recorded, and produced by Laurel.
Lots of talents.
Mm-hmm. She's currently working on her new material. She spends a lot of time in New York.
Yoink.
Yeah. And at the time of this interview and the release of Dogviolet, she also released a book about her life, which basically accompanied the album.
She's a busy girl.
Yeah, she is. She's doing it right, as they say.
So let's get on with it.
Yeah.
And speak to Laurel.
Yeah, so just before we get started, I want to thank Laurel herself for chatting to us.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley and Henry from Laurel's PR. And Harry, who is Laurel's tour manager. If you want to find Laurel online, on Twitter, Instagram, similar to Sam, same handle, at Classic Laurel, for both Twitter and Instagram. But here we go, back in the Think Tank with Laurel.
Remember, a great way to support the show is to go on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts and give us a rating and a review. It really does make a massive difference for the show. Now, on with the episode.
My name is Laurel and I'm a musician. Just released my first album.
How's that going?
Yeah, really good. I'm really pleased by the reception. I didn't expect to get such a great reception, so I'm really pleased.
Good stuff. So one of the things that we'll want to talk about is how much do you still do yourself today in terms of all the things that particularly a DIY musician needs to do? How many things do you still have control of and sort of get your hands dirty and do yourself versus other people that you sort of palm things off to?
Everything.
Yeah.
Annoyingly. Yeah, in fact, I've recently decided I needed to start delegating tasks to other people and stop doing everything for everybody else. I think it's difficult not to do that. If you do it all yourself, there's obviously varying scales in what people like to do, but I'm a bit of a control freak. I write and produce and mix and sometimes master. I curate my band, I'm MDing the band, and I'm very involved in it because I'm also on an indie label, so they don't, they fund my album, but I do everything else. So, so I'm very involved in the finances as well and all of that stuff. So yeah, there's a point where you do have to. My mum keeps telling me you have to pull back a bit because you can't physically take on everything. But I've even edited my own videos. Like all my friends do my photos for me, so I'm in contact with everybody. It's it's cool, but it's hard. It's hard work.
What's the easiest and hardest things to do yourself?
Well, I guess it depends who you are. For me, the thing I find the hardest is coordinating people. Which is something that isn't really my job, but when you have personal relationships with everybody in your team, sometimes it's a lot easier for you to coordinate with people or sort a photo contract out because my friend's a photographer, rather than getting a label involved or a manager involved, and then it becomes a whole talk on money and rights, and it all gets blown out of proportion in my experience. So I find it difficult to keep on top of that as well as doing everything else.
That's cool. So when I was looking through your discography, I'm going back on 2014 when To the Hills EPs were starting to come out. So that's like 4 years, and I think it's quite rare these days to have like that whole nurturing of an artist.
Yeah.
How important is that to you to have that nurturing to like just become who you want to become?
Yeah, really important. I think most people will get that in the time that it takes them to sign a record deal or get enough money to be professionally, funded to do it. For me, I didn't really get that, and that's one thing I look back on, and I wish I had a bit more time to figure out who I was before I started putting things out in public. Saying that, I'm glad that I did, because I had I wanted to put anything out, share my art, do everything. And some people I know are still, they're the same age as me, mid-20s, and they're about to put out their first thing because they've been too scared to put something out beforehand because they want it to be perfect. So there's like varying scales of it. Really glad that I put things out really early. But I also wish that I had nurtured my talents a bit more before I'd shared with the world who I was, because I'm very different now to when I released a lot of that music. And I'm asked to play it, and I'm still known for that, which is fine, but it does live with you. The internet doesn't go away.
No, it definitely doesn't.
Yeah.
I really like that point, because I can
like
see
both sides of it, actually.
Yeah, because a lot of people, when they first pick up an instrument for the first time, you generally all sound awful. And there's obviously a point where you get to in your mind where you think it's good enough in your own mind to share.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. What if any sort of thought process did you go through at the point in time where you were getting to that point where you thought, this is now something that I want to share with people?
I never had that. All I did, I wrote songs and I wanted to share them. That's
Straight
literally
away.
It, yeah. It's lucky that there was other people around. In fact, I wrote a song and my record label didn't want me to release it, so I put it online anyway because I really wanted to.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's what you're like when you're young. It's really good. In fact, now I think more about things. I want to get things right. And I mean, you have to eventually, if you're going to do it professionally and make professional albums, like it does need to be of a certain level. But I just wanted to get it all out there, show people what I'm doing. I do have that. I'm very expressive. That's why I write music. So as soon as I've written a new song and I'm happy with it, I want people to hear it.
I think both of our points are great though, because when we first started, we went straight out on a busking tour.
Yeah.
I don't even know how good we were then, or when we finished, to be fair. But you could spend 10 years getting that perfect first single.
Of course,
so
yeah.
I think you do yourself a bit of a justice to see you throwing it out willy-nilly.
Yeah. Well, I could only just have release music now, but funny enough, like one of the songs we're playing in the set is called Blue Blood, and it is one of my oldest songs. Actually, I wrote it when I was 19, and I kind of, you know, fell out of love with it because the production's very different from what I'm doing now. It's a different style, but we started playing it as a band, and it occurred to me in the middle of it, I was like, wow, this is a great song. Like, the writing of this, I would dream of writing another song as good as this. And, you know, I was like a lot younger, didn't have as much experience in studios or writing, but arguably it's an incredible song that I would be stoked if I wrote that now.
Mm-hmm.
So it does, you know, if you've got like artistry, it's like there's nurturing and building that talent, but there's always like the raw form of it, which you happen upon, you know, whatever age you are, really.
I totally agree. So the writing process for you, how does it start? Does it start music? Does it start words? And how do you put the two together?
It's always different. I keep in my notes app on my phone. I write things down that I hear, which is how I start writing book entries as well. I wrote a book recently, and yeah, that's where it starts. I always have lyric ideas. I have an idea that I might want to write about. Usually, I kind of have to have a subject, otherwise my chords aren't sounding the right sort of tone, or like minor, major, you know, all that sort of stuff. But then once I feel like I really need to write something, I'll sit down and I'll make the chords, usually on my guitar or the piano sometimes, and then I start singing a melody over the top, and I do it part by part, and then I put the lyrics over the top of each part in order, you know.
Are you writing that as in just with the view of this as one instrument and you? Are you always writing the song thinking about where drums might come in or other sort of instruments might sort of feed into it?
Never write with anticipation of anything else than my guitar.
Really?
Yeah, never. I just want to get the song. I think if a song is good enough solo with one instrument, then it's a great song. If you need any of the other stuff, I think that it's not a good enough song. It needs to be able to stand on its own. So I don't even think about the rest of it. And but that's with my style of songwriting, because arguably there's production songs which obviously are incredible, but with what I'm doing, and and then it's later on when I finish the song that I envision everything and try and make that happen.
So going back to your controlling, as you said, so if you've got the perfect song on your guitar and your vocal, and it sounds nothing like it when it comes to the other end, when you put it through the drums and the producers and what have you, is that something you've adapted to, or has it just come naturally?
Yeah, it's different. There's still a couple of songs I think on the album that I hear them in the raw like demo that I wrote with just me on my acoustic guitar, and I still think they kind of sound better like that. But you do have to let go a bit, and I love like styles of music as well. Like I love raw songs, and you can always have that version too, but I love stylistic music. Like a lot of people that I listen to because the style of it is so pleasing to me. So I think I'm quite good at being, but I'm doing it, so I'm never changing it how I don't want it changed, so it's easier to change it,
Yes.
This week is brought to you in partnership with MGR Music. Ever wanted to learn an instrument, hone your skills, or pick up something completely new? You can get so far by yourself, however professional guidance can make all the difference. With a network of tutors right across the UK and rates starting from as little as £15 per hour, visit mgrmusic.com now to get started.
So James, just a half-time break here for Good Cause of the Week.
Yeah, I've been thinking, I think, it's not a specific charity, but loneliness, I think, is such a huge thing in the world. In fact, I've had times where, you might see it in this book, I've been feeling really, really lonely, and in a time when there wasn't anybody around, and people have this on a much larger scale, and they don't have family and friends. And I think it's really important that we as humans connect with people that we don't know more. I think it's a shame. I'm guilty of it, everybody is, but it's just passing comments in the street, just saying hi, smiling at people, like being more human with each other and trying to bridge this loneliness situation. Very lonely world these days.
Yeah, unfortunately, but you're right, it is.
Yeah, I think it's just an awareness on that.
Laurel didn't actually have an official charity, mainly just talking about loneliness and being there for people, but I thought it'd be a good idea to highlight two mental health charities quite linked to loneliness, calm.com and mind.org.uk.
Yeah, a good topic in general to put some focus on.
Definitely. So, back to the interview.
In terms of all of sort of songwriting's obviously a massive part of what you do, but you've touched on all of the other things. What's the split between sort of time spent purely on the music versus all of the other things that...
Yeah, well, the whole summer I had hours and days and weeks to write music. I was absolutely bored stiff. But at the moment, I don't have a second to write music, and weirdly, I'm making the best songs because of it.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it's like, my album came out. I'm doing. The end of the week comes, I'm like, what did I do with my week? All I know is I was busy every minute of the day. There's been a lot of sorting out now, yeah. But I think it's in periods, isn't it? It's in different times.
Yeah.
Funny enough, when I'm the busiest and I've only got an hour to write a song, that's when I write the best songs. The best songs come very quickly, and when I'm busy doing all this other stuff, because you don't have too much to think about, and because you're really fitting in that, you really want to write a song, otherwise you wouldn't fit that 1 hour that you have off writing a song, It's really when you have the passion to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were taught, I can't remember who it was now, but we were talking to one of our guests, and the whole putting yourself into, maybe Willie Mason actually, into like boundaries to try and get something out of it really worked for him. So it might be that kind of subconsciously coming through.
That's what, for me, when I was trying to mix the record, that happened. I got myself some new speakers. I said, I'm going to sit down, I'm really going to do this. And that worked for me on the mixing level. But I feel like writing music has to come out of nowhere, out of the sky. You can't sit down and decide you're going to write a great song.
Yeah.
No, you definitely can't.
So out of all of the different things, like you say, whether it's editing a video or whatever the other things are, which of all of those things have you sort of nailed and been really happy, or you've taken an approach that might have been slightly different to the norm? Or
I'm not sure, Let me think about it. Maybe for me, when I get up my pictures and artwork done, I kind of exclusively work with my friends. I'm very lucky. I've got very talented photographer friends and people in film, and my boyfriend shot all of my artwork for my albums. And that approach really works for me. That wouldn't be what other people did. You'd hire a photographer, they'd do one day where you get your press shots, your artwork, everything, you have a stylist, you have makeup, etc. That's just, I think the pressure of that is mad. Like, it's just the same as writing an album in a day, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas for me, like, I've got great friends and we have very chilled connections, and we'll have some soup and then like hang around my house and take a few pictures here and there, and then it's really like very casual, very chilled, and then we try and develop something from what we've found together to make it into my artwork or my press shots, So that approach for me has been the best way to do that. And it might not be advised, but I like doing it that way.
I think there's a lesson in that, in getting the most of what's around you. And if you've got great talented mates, then use them.
Definitely.
Makes sense.
Exactly.
You can trust them as well.
Yeah, but it's more so just not setting up a whole day where you think you're going to get everything that you want. There's that sort of pressure on anything. This is not good, and it's too much pressure for it not to work. So it has to work. But maybe then you get the pictures back, and they're not really what you wanted, but you would go with it anyway because all the money's been spent on it, and they were meant to be the pictures. That's happened to me before.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine. So one of the things I was keen to talk about, just looking at the time there, was your book.
Yeah.
So when I was speaking to Ashley about the meeting, this was something that really spiked my interest. So what's it all about?
Me. It's about my life. It's funny, people keep saying, "Oh, you've written a book, what's it about?" And I'm like, me. So self-indulgent.
Well, you must know a lot about yourself.
Well, that's what the book's about. The book is kind of about me finding myself as an artist, as a human being, like that. But really why I have released it is because it kind of correlates with my album and what was going on in my life whilst I wrote these songs. A lot of people ask me about the lyrics. What do they mean? What are they? And people want to get to know you. Who am I? Why do I write the lyrics I write? Why do I do what I do? And I think this book is my way of showing people insight to my life, to be like, this is why I wrote these songs. This is specifically what was going on in my life when I wrote that song. I haven't obviously said that in the book, but you can kind of guess, you can kind of see what was going on. And also just to know my character. I think it's very easy through Instagram and social media. You don't really know somebody, you don't get to know them at all. It's just a picture, isn't it? So this is a way to show my character and who I am and what I actually love to do. And at the end of the day, I just want to make art. I love books. I'm really into.
Is it getting a physical release as well, is it?
Yeah, I've got one. You can
cool.
have one upstairs if you want. I keep giving them to everybody. It's so bad.
You need to sell them.
Yeah, I know. It's the first run, so there's a few mistakes and stuff, but it's kind of like a test run. I'm giving people, selling them on the tour, and I'm going to do like a proper release with them in November when I'm back, and I've got a bit of a chance to do it.
Oh, because you're going across Europe after this on, you have to.
Yeah. So that's actually been something that has occupied a lot of my time, getting this book ready. It's like, release an album and a book? What?
So is this the biggest tour you've ever done?
Yes, it is, yeah. I did a similar support tour with Oh Wonder time last year, but I was in and out of it because I had some other commitments and I was doing it solo and I was supporting, so it was a bit different, whereas this is full band, it's all my own headline shows and it's 6 weeks, which is crazy.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Cool. So this is news to James. I've got an end quick fire questions.
Okay.
Just to bring it back to a pop area, like smash hits or whatever. So, first thing that comes to your mind. Song you wish you wrote.
Talking Heads, This Must Be the Place.
Really?
That's my
Good
favourite
choice.
song.
I love the Talking Heads.
Absolute genius.
So, who was the artist who made you want to become an artist?
Laura Marling.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Excellent. First gig you went to?
Oh, that's really embarrassing. Miley Cyrus.
Really? And the first album that changed your life?
Laura Marling, Alas I Cannot Swim. I was like 15, I think she was 17, and I found that album. I was 14 and I adored it. It made me buy a guitar. It made me write music. I was writing music, but not the same. It did change my life. That inspired me intensely, And yeah, absolutely. The reason I write probably the lyrics I do today is because of that album. And I already knew I wanted to be a musician, and I loved Britney Spears and all this music, but this made me realise what type of musician I wanted to be and how I was going to do it.
Cool. Brilliant. And the last one, what's the favourite part of all this?
Writing for me still. All of this stuff is great fun. I like touring. It's hard work though. The other stuff is harder for me, whereas writing, there is no part of it that I find difficult. It's just pure. I love it. Absolutely love it. Just put me back in my house and sing songs by the river all day.
Brilliant.
So I'll tell you what I liked about the Laurel interview. The work ethic that came across.
Yeah.
I think she was I got the impression she was at a point in her career where she was sort of finding that she had to start delegating more things and giving up control a bit, which is probably a bit scary.
And tough as well, Cam.
Yeah, if you've been used to doing everything yourself. But as we spoke to other people, the fact that she's got all those skills under her belt, when she does start to delegate them out, she knows what good looks like and she knows how she wants things doing, as opposed to asking someone else to do it and hoping for the best.
I think it'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So, thank you again to Laurel for taking the time out on that Sunday afternoon before playing the Think Tank. Thank you to Henry and Ashley from the PR company I was speaking to, and Harry, her tour manager. He was a very nice chap on the day. Next week, James, who are we talking to?
We are talking to Lee Fuge.
And what does he do?
What doesn't he do, Ben? Primarily, he plays the guitar.
Excellent, lovely stuff. Yeah, we'll call a little clip for next week.
Every month though, there's sort of a different, improve your picking or improve your chords or this, that and the other. And it's great as a teacher because I can look at these exercises and think, oh, that might be useful to show someone.
All of the show notes for today's episode can be found at acpgmusic.com, along with our back catalogue of episodes. If you like what you hear, or perhaps have some improvements or specific guests you'd like us to consider, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at info@acpgmusic.com or hit us up on social media. Keep supporting upcoming artists, and we'll catch you next time.